Sup nerds, and welcome to this week's exciting episode of Quintessential Anthropology. Today on QA, we're going to be telling you exactly why I seem to be in an entirely different location than previously before. Previously and before being synonyms, and therefore one of them is redundant. So, as you may have noticed, the area around me has changed. Instead of being in front of a blank, empty nothingness, I'm now in a room which seems to be full of things. This is because I've gone back to my college, the name of which I'll leave to you to discover. I just had to check to make sure there wasn't anything with the name of my college in the background. That would have been great. In case you're wondering, I'm not hiding it out of any belief that my identity is at all mysterious to you. It's just that I don't believe in putting all of my personal information on the internet all at once. So, first and foremost, let me explain to you what's going on. I am a college student, and I go to a college. Now, at this college, I attend a number of class-like activities known as classes, where I learn things, and hopefully will end up using those things to get a job which will give me money. Unfortunately, I have no money, nor do I have time in this college experience. As a result, my episodes will update bi-weekly. Or, is it bi-weekly or semi-weekly? My episodes will update every 2 weeks. What does this mean? Well, it means you have more time to devote to your life, and I have more time to give to mine. Because frankly, this takes about an hour and a half to put together from start to finish. And sometimes that's an hour and a half I don't have. So occasionally there will be weeks where there will be no episode. And there will be weeks where there will be an extra one. But I can promise that you'll have at least 2 episodes per month to sustain you in your busy lifestyle. First off, today I want to give a brief shout out to energy bars and the people who make them, because without them I would probably have died multiple times in the last week and a half. Next off, I want to introduce, without any delay at all, this week's anthropological concept. Now, this is a new segment that I've just decided to do right now, wherein I actually do something that's all related to the title of my video blog, namely anthropology. Now, some of you watching may already be familiar with this concept, but hopefully this will give the neophyte, that means someone who's new to this, some way to talk about something that's remotely close to anthropology. And this is an important concept. This concept is one that I talk about frequently, and that is social identity. Social identity is basically the way you define yourself or think about yourself as a person. For example, I define myself in many different ways. As a video blogger, as a writer, as a musician, as a reader, as an anthropology major, as a Latino, as a male, sort of, not the most manly guy you'll ever meet, as someone who listens to dubstep, and as a straight person. These are just a few identities of the vast, writhing cauldron of identityness that is the world, and I don't have just one at a time. I'm not only just a video blogger, I also am a writer video blogger. And I'm not just a writer video blogger, I'm a musician writer video blogger. And I'm not just a musician writer video blogger, I'm also an Irish writer musician video blogger. And I'm not just an Irish musician writer video blogger, I'm also a straight male Latino Irish writer, musician, video blogger, anthropology major. And you, as well, have this vast and ever-expanding sort of tree of identities. There's the one that comes to you first in whichever situation you're in. Like, for example, at Comic-Con, your status as a Whovian might come out first, above all the other ones. Although that's unlikely. Usually we have a more stable identity that kind of comes out first most of the time. Anyway, social identity is you, as you perform yourself in social situations. It's not too complicated of an issue, but it's a relatively important one if you want to do anything related to anthropology. And besides, most of the theoretical conversations you'll have in anthropology will be kind of based on this framework idea of the individual as a hodgepodge of identities, all kind of going. So, with our anthropological concept of the week out of the way, we move on to another and more classical segment. Insects that share your shower. Now, I sincerely hope this week's insect does not in fact ever share your shower. However, I have seen it many times on sidewalks and on my finger. Only once though, because it's large enough to grasp you with its fingers and actually feel like something terrifying instead of just a bug. This week's insect is, that's right, the cicada. But despite its horrific and Lovecraftian appearance, the cicada is actually completely harmless. And the only way it can hurt you is if you stay awake too long after seeing it because you're terrified. The cicada has an elongated life cycle wherein it burrows into the ground and spends a long adolescence sitting around doing nothing and probably surfing Tumblr. After this period of adult-child life, it climbs up out of the dirt, latches onto a tree, and crawls out of its own skin, leaving behind an empty dead husk. Which is not at all unsettling to think about. It then climbs up higher into the tree, unfolds its wings, and proceeds to create an unholy sound like a higher octave dubstep roll. Which is designed to attract female cicadas. The female cicadas then find the male cicadas. They trundle up to each other, making sounds that would make a reaper say, "Ugh," and, you know, slap up on each other. After the deed is done, both of them wander off to repeat the process as much as possible. Eventually, they die. They then fall out of the tree onto the sidewalk, where they terrify freshmen and make you think twice about walking around with bare feet. And that brings us to the close of this week's episode of Quintessential Anthropology. To sum up briefly, social identity, cicadas, and bi-weekly episodes. Does bi-weekly mean 2 a week, or does that mean that every 2? Coming up next week, we'll delve further into the new world of anthropology that I've just decided to actually start talking about instead of just putting in the title. And we'll come back with another insect that you'll find in your shower. Until next time, I'll see you later, and have a spiffy day.